Good evening, Shufflebus Riders. What is up? It's your boy Jesse back here with another episode of the Shufflebus Live podcast with my good friend and co-host who's with me 99% of the time. Neil, how are you tonight, dude?
Good. Doing good.
Good, man. So, yeah, it's been a hot minute since we've been together, dude.
Yeah, some weird stuff the last couple weeks.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything in particular that was problematic. I had to
just
attend a funeral last week, or a wake. Funeral was the next day, but we couldn't make the funeral day, so ended up having to go to that. That's why I left you to try to stream solo, but we had some weird Google security issues keeping you from getting on YouTube last week. And then
I made the mistake of updating my OBS, and then it wanted me to reattach the token from YouTube, and I couldn't get
yeah, it just messed it all
logged
up.
in.
It happens.
Yeah.
I upgraded some of my equipment, so I got a new mic. If I'm too hot, chat, please say something. It's very hard for me to tell how I line up with Neil here.
You sound great through Zoom.
Good. Yeah, I upgraded to an XLR mic in my setup, and
Nice.
got rid of the old Blue Yeti that has been my tried and true mic companion for the last 6
Yep.
years.
My guy's still here. There he is.
Yeah. I still got him. I mean, I can never quit him, right? He's right here. But yeah. At the end of the day, it was time to make some upgrades. Working on some other things, and just kind of wanted to improve this. Plus, I wanted to have us to have some nice microphone equipment for Gen Con, so I've got a second one here as well.
Sick. Yeah.
So yeah, long story short, it will greatly improve our Gen Con presentation. I do a local podcast, sports podcast, with another friend of mine, and so it allows us to set up some.
That's the real reason I figured you got it was
Yeah, well, he doesn't have. He's your typical like sports guy. Doesn't have a computer at home at all.
what at all?
At all. No.
Interesting.
No computer at home at all. So at the end of the day, I was like, hey, if I buy you a mic and this mixer, would you set it up? And he's like, I don't have a computer at home. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I guess I actually have to like configure the studio then a little bit differently. So the room I'm in now will eventually go through a configuration change so that he and I can quickly pod from the house too. But yeah. Well, that's kind of been my last few weeks. We got our new center open, which is awesome. I got a chance last week on Friday, which I was a little concerned I wasn't going to be able to make it, but Greg made it up from his hometown and made the drive to Lincoln, and we played a little sealed SolForge set 1 at Joel's house last week, so that was kind of fun.
Sweet.
I had to leave early. I didn't get to finish the quote-unquote, impromptu quasi-tournament. I don't even think there was actual software being run. It was just like a round-robin play everybody kind of thing. And I was 2-0 when I had to leave, and I did beat Greg. So I'm officially 2-0 against Greg.
Yeah, now you're the ultimate champion. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
It's like Highlander.
Yeah. There can only be one, right? Yeah, 100%. So it was... we were kind of laughing about it while we were playing. It was all in good fun, of course, but at the end of the day, I was super excited to get a chance to play Greg, and it was a fun, intense match for sure. I think I won the lottery on that sealed pool in the sense that I had a really crazy green half that was just full of synergies. And they were like gain life when you replace a creature type synergies, while having things like Summoning Council. And on the blue half side that I ended up playing, I had a Drix. Of course,
Greg agrees with you. I don't know if Greg agrees that you're the ultimate champion or that your green half is good, but he seems to have enjoyed his time there. That's cool. I'm glad that you're able to do that.
So Drix, when you've got creatures that give you a crap load of health when you replace things, is absolutely crazy. Like
you could have removed the center of that sentence. Drix is absolutely crazy. Period. Like
yeah, well,
obviously, like blue suffers a little bit in set 1, but like Drix is very, very good.
Yeah, I didn't have any real hard removal in the sense like when I played against Greg's deck, like he he had Botanimate and Vine Lash, and I don't remember. He had like a stabilizing and a suppressing creature. Like, so he was really tough against me. And my green half was a Nova with Nova's Might at cycle 2, and then a Dominion at cycle 4. And I don't remember what the mid tier one was.
Does that make 2/8/8s?
Yes.
If it's cycle 4 Dominion?
Yeah. Makes 2/8/8 Oak Fathers. And yeah, it was really fun. I have the deck here. I could probably scan it really quick and then we could look at it. But that makes me so far, like, I have had a ton of success in sealed, just in general. I don't know if just because I'm lucky. I don't feel like I'm lucky in opening product when it's just like trying to add to my collection.
Yeah, I mean, sealed is an interesting format, right? Like, the most balanced format is probably just like for fun constructed at some local store somewhere where people have similar collection levels.
Right. Or at
But
least
actual
the decks like
competitive
get silvered out at some point, right? The good ones
yeah,
do.
actual competitive constructed is like the wild wild west of lottery games. So like sealed is, I think, a happy medium in there where yes, it's potentially one person can open the nuts and then you play some non-interactive games, but for the most part, it's a very balanced format and makes for more interactive decision making in the game than
and Tater Tot
hardcore
Joel
constructed.
Yeah, and Tater Tot Tater Tot Eat a Lot Joel on the Discord. I mean, he is truly what will I say? He is a gentleman amongst boys. He took all of his Ultimate Championship stuff that he won or got when he went to Denver, and he gave it away to us. So he gave me a Zombie Brute, Zombie Minion Ultimate Championship card, even though I'd never attended an Ultimate Championship. So that was kind of cool. That's really nice of him to do that. Obviously, was not necessary. But the other big win that night, Neil, was I got me a Betrayer Djinn. Wolfstar Djinn.
Oh, that's that thing you like. Yeah. I think that card's pretty good.
I've only played one game with it. I lost to a Krogius. My deck was just a little bit too slow for a Krogius. I do think Dark Forge Drain might be soft Krogius in general, but just because it doesn't have to work as hard sometimes as Dark Forge Drain decks have to work to get to there. But it was a really close game nonetheless. So yeah, I mean, we had a great time. I don't know what time Greg took off that night. I left a little bit early because I had to get up early and go back to the center on Saturday morning. So I was like, I've got to go home.
That's some dedication to like drive 3 hours. Both ways.
It's not quite 3 hours. I think it's like 2.
Oh,
2 each way. But
I thought he was in Kansas City, but maybe he's just
he's in Manhattan area. I don't know Manhattan, Kansas area, but
he's in the chat. Maybe he'll correct me. We'll see.
Yeah. So,
but
yeah. So, anyways, what's been going on in your life?
That's cool.
What's new?
God. Well, I feel like the summer's gotten away from me just because my parents have been here.
Mm-hmm.
They left last week, or 2 weeks ago. I don't even remember now. But when they're here, life changes a lot because Greg says it's a 2-hour, 20-minute drive. He left at 10 p.m.
Yeah, it's not bad.
We got home at midnight. But when my parents are here, my life changes dramatically because they go stay with my sister, and they always stay for like a really long time. But then I feel obligated to spend all my free time over there.
Sure.
And it's not a far drive, but it's like an hour and a half. So when I go, I want to like, I want to like make it, I want to go for like the day, not just like at the evening to drive an hour and a half there. Oh, Church is in here spamming our chat.
Yeah. I can't, Church, but maybe Neil can. I can't tonight. I apologize. I wish I could. I did see you had put it out there, and I was trying to figure out if I could make it work, and unfortunately not tonight.
Yeah, I don't think I can either. not while we're streaming here, and then like we'll be done and it'll be late. Dad duties, Ankh says.
But we'll
yeah.
I mean, if you want to put the link in chat, I'll spam it a few times throughout the stream in case, and try to grab one person for you.
Yeah, we'll try to pick up somebody that.
I think you start.
George is so sad. George, I'm sorry to let you down.
You should just know at this point, Neil's whole point in life is to let people down.
Wow. That seems harsh.
I'm kidding.
That's like
I'm kidding.
Those are the daggers.
Just you were wide open for it.
Yeah.
So,
well, I saw that one or both of the Creech brothers was eBaying their decks.
Yes, Ryan has put both of his silver decks up, and the chat's blowing up on my jab to you. Yeah, Ryan has put his and I think both their decks, if I'm not mistaken, Greg's and Ryan's are both up for sale on eBay right now.
I think the auction closed, right? Like they sold already. I'm not.
Did they sell? I don't know for sure if they sold.
I don't know. It was a big price tag, but like
I think it's an appropriate price.
Obviously, right. I mean, we set a $300 price a few months ago with that red deck that seemed very competitive, and we know these decks are competitive. So
yeah, they're winning, right?
Yeah.
It's been relisted, so they did not sell. At least the Eterna.
Oh, okay. So I must have just clicked on the closed listing then.
Yeah.
If it got relisted.
Both were relisted. One of them wasn't relisted. The Utera Necrium deck. I think this was.
Well, I'm told that one of them wins 70% of the time, so it's probably a good price.
Honestly, I think the price is exactly correct on them, right? Like, their proven competitive lists.
I think it's a fine price for, like, we always compare this to other games, and if you were getting into an older format of Magic, or I guess I don't know what a Flesh and Blood deck costs nowadays.
Hard to say.
You could easily spend that much. If you're getting into like Standard or whatever, it wouldn't be that much. But you also have to take into account that like the market for this game is different in that you're buying a premium power level, whereas in other games of Real Constructed, you're buying into a known power level, and you don't really have the option to pay a little bit more than your opponent in singles and have a better deck, where in this game you can. So having a slightly inflated price compared to competitive, standard type decks, I don't think is unwarranted.
Well, for perspective, there are in Classic Constructed Flesh and Blood right now, there are 2 tier 1 decks that are considered top tier. One is an Oldhim deck, and I'm just pulling up the Pro Tour since obviously it's Pro Tour. This was played by Michael Fang in Baltimore. Took first place. The cards and their value are $1,257.90.
Jesus, is that because of like whatever you're looking at, taking into account the addition of the cards, or is that just their like?
That's if you wanted to go buy. If you wanted to buy the deck off a TCG Player right now, like if you just click the buy button, it'll load all the cards from TCG Player, and
I believe you. I thought that game's like card prices had leveled out to a more reasonable number, but I guess not.
So the second tier 1 deck is a Lexi Livewire deck. It's a Ranger, which everybody used to say Ranger was crap. So interesting to see a tier 1 Ranger deck. And it was played at Road to Nationals in Sunshine Games, Florida. It finished first place in May, and it is valued at $883.85.
That's kind of crazy. Is that like the standard format for that game?
Classic Constructed is standard format. The quick format is the smaller deck Blitz format.
Right.
And in that one, Icelander is the tier 1 list for it. It finished first in Battle Hardened Baltimore, and it has a price of $421.97. So that's more in line with what you would expect out of like a Flush of Blood style deck. And then,
so if that's the case, then obviously like the comparison is almost non-existent.
But then Kano was the other tier 1 list in the Blitz format, and the value on the Kano cards is $730.66. So
that game's crazy. I don't understand that game still. I thought that it had really kind of like stabilized to a regular market, but I guess every card is just obnoxiously expensive.
Yeah, I mean, like the second place deck from World Championships is a Prism deck, and it's $543.71. So, I mean, I guess you're talking about pure high end competitive, right? Like that's what we're really talking about here, and to me, like that isn't unworldly, but it is definitely more expensive than playing SolForge, no doubt. More expensive than playing Magic, probably.
Yeah, I assume so. Guess. I haven't followed the prices of Magic very closely lately.
And so George adding in, and we definitely need to link that out here as well. Onk's Kickstarter has launched for his
the life counter thing. I don't know what he calls it.
What is this thing called, Onk? Like
Ben, put your Kickstarter link in chat, or if you can't, send it to Jesse so he can.
It's called the Nexus Tracker for SolForge Fusion.
Yeah,
I don't want that.
Yeah, and this is if you're listening to us, if it's, I mean, don't spend any money you don't have. I don't advise people do that, but it's a very cool item, and it's, I think, a very important accessory for this game. So go support his Kickstarter if you have the availability.
I just linked it for chat, so be sure to go visit this page. I'm going to bring it up here so everybody can see it.
If you have some questions about it, we have a previous video with Ben on the stream with us.
Yeah, give me just a second. I got to fix. I think I figured out what caused my computer to go like completely crazy a few weeks back and not work. And so I need to fix a few of the scenes, and this is one scene I'll have to fix because why would I be prepared for a live stream? What would that be like?
That's for suckers.
Right, exactly. Duh.
The only people that are prepared are suckers and Brian Church.
Is there a difference? Sorry, Church.
Wow. Sorry. See, I separated Church from the suckers. I set him up on a pedestal aside. Kidding, you're throwing daggers in all directions.
I'm just on fire tonight, man. What can I tell you?
God, you're just mean. I'm gonna sit in a car with you for 10 hours and
you are gonna sit in a car with me for 10 hours, and you're gonna be like, "What did I get into?"
I'm gonna be dead. Yeah, Church is crying. Look what you did.
I'm sorry, Church. I love you, man. I'm just giving you a hard
time. Right. Greg only puts the like surprise face in chat now.
That's the way this is gonna go from here on out. I can see it now.
Dear Diary, I tried to make some friends with some guys. It didn't work out.
Oh man, I'm just kidding, George. I love you, dude.
Oh my god, that's so man. Good. They don't put me in this.
Yeah, it's too late, Neil. You're lumped in, man.
God, guilty by association.
Yeah, that's how it works. Duh, didn't you know?
Barely not.
So I'm trying to get levels right on the mic tonight. So if y'all hear me changing volume, it's just because I'm trying to get that sorted out with the new equipment. But Yeah. So, anyways, I've got it up now on screen. I was able to get the scene fixed that needed to be fixed for that, and he's got 33 backers so far. He's about 3/4 of the way to his goal here. It seems like he's got a pretty good shot to make it. Usually, the first 24 hours are kind of critical, and then the last 48 hours are kind of critical on these things. I think there's. If we're being really honest, I think he has an opportunity to market this beyond just SolForge. But
potentially,
it's probably best as a SolForge thing. But you could use it for creatures of magic, or take your pick of different things too, right? Because you could kind of line those things up. But they look really great. They look low profile. I'm hoping to be able to back into this project myself here, but got to make sure a few things are put in line, especially with the equipment upgrades we just made for Gen Con. So, yeah, but the overall...
Yeah, I played a game with one of the prototype ones. It doesn't look as nice as the one that's in the image you have up there.
Yeah.
But it was really slick. It was great.
So, go check out the Kickstarter. If you haven't backed it already, back the Kickstarter. You can do it. Ryan Creech has got his mug on here, which is cool. You've got I've got pictures of all the peeps here, and then of course great pictures of all of the prototypes we talked about, and the unique Forge card, which we didn't get to show, I think, on our show a couple of weeks ago. So
yeah, the alternate tokens that we had on our show look awesome.
Yes, they do.
That's kind of like secondary to the actual item itself, but it is like a little bonus you get for backing on Kickstarter.
Right. There's like 5 people that have backed at that. He's also got a playmat that he's built that looks great with the overall says Nexus on it. I mean, it's all really well thought out and really well designed, and certainly he's got a few different things going on. Most backers are in for,
and it's like it looks great. All that stuff. It really is very practical, because this game obviously is birthed from oh god, I'm a little delayed on the stream. You're scrolling down. It really is just like Ryan's face.
Yeah.
It's like, here's a video of Ryan's face talking about like life counter.
Yeah.
But the item itself, on top of looking great, and it actually is really practical, because this game originated from a digital game, so all the fiddly bits, were handled by the computer, and then as they transferred it to paper, obviously some of the rules have changed, everything, but the fiddly bits are still there, but they're actually physically fiddly now. So like using D10s works okay, whatever you got to do to. I think the little chips that come in the like quote starter set thing kind of suck, but whatever you do to keep track of your life, it's gonna be fiddly regardless what you do. This really mitigates that. It was very practical to use.
Yeah. I'm most likely going to be in at this 325 level for him to help get there, and hopefully he can push it over the top and get these made, because he's worked really hard on it. He certainly deserves to have this thing exist, and it really is the like creme de la creme of SolForge experience on the table.
Yeah, it's a good tool for the community to have available.
Absolutely. Yep.
If you're some kind of TO anywhere, you have a little local scene, like just get one.
Right. Neil, I fused the deck that I played at Joel's house. I have it available if we want to look at it and talk about it.
Your sealed deck?
Yeah.
Why don't you slag it to me too, so I don't have to look at the stream delay?
Okay. If you say so.
I do say so.
Yep. When Neil speaks, y'all better jump.
Yeah. Yes. That is something we should implement as well. Do what Neil says.
Do what Neil says? All right.
Yeah.
From here on out, it's the Neil show. Whatever he says goes. Okay. So I played the Nova. Again, Nova's Might, give your creatures +2/+2. Nova's Wrath, that was what it was. And Nova's Wrath turned out to be an MVP with all the minion generation here. Give your creature +6 attack. If it's a minion, it may strike an opposing creature. It very, very strong. Very good overall ability. And then Nova's Dominion is play up to 2 Oakfather minions.
Yeah. So, your Ironbeard is pretty good too, but I mean the Nova's.
But it's Ironbeard.
The cycle 3 ability in Nova, I think, is better.
So because we don't have many spells here. We have Summoning Council, Electronet, Metasight, and Primal Surge. Did use Metasight, especially late in the game in Cycle 3. Sometimes it was pretty good. Was not actively upgrading Metasight through the game. Electronet, only used it if it was free. But that ability, if free, is very, very powerful.
I like how you have 4 spells and 2 of them are free.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Summoning Council, obviously just actively upgrading Summoning Council whenever I could. Primal Surge, as long as I could make it free, I was playing it. If not, then it wasn't getting played. But level 3 Primal Surge is pretty good. It's pretty nasty. On the green side, the Glowhive Siren obviously is just very good, big body creature, and can be very daunting and be very strong. Refreshing Packmaster, this is one of those creatures that if you replace a creature, then you gain life, and at the top level you get 13 life if you replace a creature. That's pretty insane. Second Refreshing Ranger, same thing, but you get 15 life. And when you make a bunch of minions, you'd be surprised how often you can trigger the Ranger. Quite a bit. Was very, very good throughout most of the night. Sated Druid, obviously, very, very good just to pressure opponents, especially at the end where you play an Oakfather and you make this into a 16-3 breakthrough as long as you have more than 30 life, which I had in both of my games. So I was able to make the Druid continue to be a powerful tool.
It's funny that's like your only life gain payoff, huh? I mean, besides like just having life, I guess. But
yeah. I mean, it was just that was what I won on the back of, was just making an obscene amount of life. I think in my game against Greg, I was at 102 life before at one point in the game. So it can just make a ton of life. Venerable Decasaur was probably the worst card in the green. Soothing Wartusk being maybe second worst, but obviously just gaining life is
Venerable Decasaur is better than Taliesin.
Yeah, I still got a lot of value out of Taliesin.
That's interesting. In sealed especially, that seems like
it just
like real dicey.
Yeah, I mean it obviously didn't always work perfectly great, but level 3 Talisan's extremely strong, and you can kind of there were times in the 2 games that I played where I played Talisan and didn't use the ability just because it was the only card I had, but I wanted to get to the level 3 version. It was just my second best card in those hands, and that's just sometimes the way it works. The Eighth Forge Oracle was okay. Nothing too incredibly fancy about it, other than it's a mage. And so because I had the Palladium Hintermine, having another mage in play is sometimes nice. Stout Scavenger got played once, I think.
That card's bad.
Orient Battle Droid is pretty good at level 3, but
Battle Droid's fine. Yeah. Especially in Steeled, there's probably just a lot more random creature combat, so the like level 2 and level 3 Battle Droids are very hard to fight.
And between, if you have a Battle Droid in play and then you play a Yeti, you get pretty good value out of your Yeti.
It's definitely a combo with Forge Blade too, yeah.
And Primal Surge also gives you that same sort of armor.
Did you ever miss on the Nova's Wrath?
On the
you
Nova's
only have.
Did I ever miss on it?
Yeah, you only have Drix and Summoning Council and Druid that make a thing.
No, I never missed on it.
Interesting.
Mm-mm.
I'm surprised by that because you only have 3 cards that make a minion.
Yeah, no, I had no issue with it in the 2 games that I played. So
okay,
yeah, I mean, obviously you could miss on it, but I still think giving a creature +6 is plenty powerful, especially if it's like in Cycle 3 you're using your Druid to make
right. It doesn't. Yeah, it never like literally misses because you get the first half of it, but the part that makes that ability good is the second half.
Right. Yep. So that was the only real removal I had beyond just Forge Plate Yeti and combat removal. But Drix was an MVP, of course.
Oh yeah, he's obviously nutso, and if he doesn't die, you can't lose the game.
Madungo says 3 hits is a lot, to be honest. It isn't sealed for sure, Madungo. I wouldn't want to buy into Nova's might at this ability in a constructed play with only 3 minion generators. But to be fair, the minion generators I do have make multiple minions in general, right? Like Drix only makes 1, but generally speaking, in sealed, you get 2 activations of Drix pretty easily. That's happened in most of my games.
It's just you probably don't want to be using the gizmo off Drix to do the Nova thing. I guess it's strike, so it wouldn't die back, so maybe that's fine.
Yep.
But usually you're
replacing. One of the problems, one of the only things that I really was not fortunate with in both of my games was I'd never drew Drix off Forge, which was kind of it's kind of awkward to have that happen. Because it gives your opponent time then to be able to use their second card to deal with your Drix, and it does make your second activation of Drix more dicey. But I was able to, in both of my games, put Drix in unfavorable positions where my opponent didn't want to necessarily replace a creature. So in one case I put a Drix on Forge in front of like it was one of the specimen cards, like the 1/8 thing that if you take no damage, and so like I knew at most that thing was going to do 2 damage and was going to give me an opportunity to get second activation of Drix, right? Like unless my opponent had a direct removal for Drix there at that time, and that meant that they weren't playing into another lane. So, but
yeah, sure.
But it's. I tried to take as most advantage of my Drix. I had one moment in my game with Ryan where I was holding Drix and I was holding Orion Battle Droid, and Orion Battle Droid would catch one of his creatures and kill it, and Drix was not guaranteed in that scenario to survive for a second activation because I was on Forge. And I ultimately decided on the Drix. I think it turned out to be the right decision just to be able to level the Drix up through the curve. I'd never played a level 3 Drix in the whole tournament, though. I will say
that's okay. The level 2 one's good enough.
Yeah. Level 2 Drix is absolutely insane. It's super powerful, and I think you can play level 2 Drix in cycle 3 very easily and be happy. So, I'm still a firm believer this might be one of the best cards out of cycle 1, set 1, if not the best card out of set 1. Stitcher being a very close second, if not first.
It's kind of that's kind of a hard comparison. I think Stitcher is a better card overall because Stitcher has like an incredibly high ceiling, but also a pretty high floor. Drix's floor is pretty low because you were talking about, and Doug was talking about in chat too. Like if you have him on Forge, he's much more vulnerable, and he's vulnerable to a lot of things that are, and like essentially all the things that are good in the meta are good against Drix, pretty much. Like all the removal spells kill him. So, and if you play a Drix, your opponent like knows to kill it, right? You're never going to have like a better target for essentially any of the removal. So if you have him on Forge, it's bad. But the Stitcher, just kind of does what it does, regardless of when you draw it. The only thing, obviously, you have to have a minion. But
yeah, I mean, I've had times.
If we're talking about constructed, then
I don't know. I guess I've just had times where Stitcher was not playable either, right? Like it has.
Stitcher is like never playable in cycle 1, or very rarely.
Sure.
So part of what makes Stitcher so powerful is that it's a great underdrop, and like the really great underdrops are few and far between.
Right. I do think cycle 2 Drix is a good underdrop still, though. I want to be really clear there. So
yeah, but that barely counts. You're talking about just playing a bomb in cycle 3. Like every card in cycle 3 is a bomb, and just because level 2 Drix is a bomb, it's the most impactful underdrops are the cycle 2 ones.
Sure.
But I agree with you that like level 2 Drix is definitely playable at any juncture of the game that you draw it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a ton of great Stitcher decks, to be fair, so I don't have as much experience playing Stitcher as I do Drix. But I think Drix is more my style than Stitcher is too. That's one of those things where
I mean, the reason that it's hard to compare is because Drix is a win condition and Stitcher is a support card, right? Like
right.
Uh, so it's always hard to compare power levels of things that don't hold the same role. Uh, so the easy comparison to Drix is some other large creature win condition thing, right? Like some other engine in your deck that is the reason you win the game. That's not what Stitcher is normally, right? Like Stitcher is just like a powerful value play,
right?
That, and it's always going to be hard to get a direct comparison between those kind of things.
No, I completely agree, and I'm not disagreeing with you in principle. But if you have to,
if you've ever played God, what is that card called? It's like if you have a scientist reanimate two things. That only happens at level 3. In the first 2 levels, it's like if you have a scientist make 2/3/3s.
Is that Frankenbomb?
If you have a scientist, no, it's a spell.
Gaslight Renewal.
Yeah. So if you ever Ghastly Renewal into a Stitcher, like that's just like the best feeling you can ever have.
Sure.
It's just like the craziest nonsense.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't
stuff
know.
Like that.
This deck turned out to be pretty good. Was not disappointed in the play of this deck.
It seems fine. It's literally all creatures.
Yeah.
Like, because you're rarely ever going to play Metasite. If you play Primal Surge or Electronet, you're playing it because it's free, and summoning counts as a creature. It's literally just all creatures.
Yep. But I think in Sealed, that's a viable strategy in Sealed.
Well, it's certainly better than all spells in most cases in Sealed, I think, because having many spells requires like good synergy guys.
Right.
So the like roll that's required is higher. When you're all dudes, like at least you always have a dude to put in a lane.
So let's
you're never gonna have a bad like draw for blocking.
Let's take it another step. I haven't claimed the other 2 decks that were in my pool, and I want your thoughts on whether I made the right decision or the wrong decision. Then
I think I would have played Ironbeard just between these 2, mostly because of Forge Plate Yeti.
Sure.
I just would want to have the like cycle 4, give 12 armor, play Forge Plate Yeti play, knowing that my cycle 3 Nova is just okay. But maybe I'm just full of crap because the Summoning Council is just so good and you're gonna play it every single time that you're always gonna have a random dude lying around.
Summoning Council is such a ridiculously strong card. I cannot believe how powerful Summoning Council is.
It's really good.
It's one of my favorite spells to play in the game, without a doubt. So I'll share these other 2. I'm pretty confident that one of these is completely out in comparison, but the other one I'm not sure. I was really debating between it, and I'll see if you can figure out which one I was debating on.
I mean, it would be hard for me not to play Drix, I think, if I had like the rest of the deck would have to be real bad in Sealed.
So we have the Gang of Joke Allies. And this was a Nyx deck with Raising Dead, Army of the Damned, and Soul Rip. And was with an Arrogant Walker, Brood Fang, Corrupt Spirit, Ghoulish Demon, Gloomy Hag, Grimgaunt Predator, Indomitable Fiend, Portal Shade, Group Meal, and Varric's Embrace. So again, spell light.
You gonna link me?
Oh, sorry. Yep, I gotta do that.
You're good. The delay on the stream is too much for me to discuss.
So this is the Nyx. And then let me grab you the Sunder. Okay. So there was, for me, like looking at it, there was not a ton of great cards in the Nyx in the purple half here. None that really bought into the life gain component, although Corrupt Spirit being a pretty good creature.
I like Corrupt Spirit, and I like Eric. Like I like Walker in general, regardless of that
sure
adjective. Arrogant is actually a pretty good one, I think. It's easy to get a nice little 2-for-1 off the deployability plus the big power.
Sure. Yep.
But like Ghoulish Demon sucks.
Yep.
The card's awful.
Yep. Hag is only good as an underdrop. We've talked about that quite a bit. Predator seemed potentially good with Oakfather access from the Sated Druid and the Summoning Council. Like, it seemed like it might be potentially good in that scenario, but its overall value as a creature with stealth is so reliant on you drawing it when you have Forge, right? If you want,
Boomtown's a fine card. Fiend sucks in this deck because you don't have a nice sack outlet. I guess like you have Cycle 4 Soul Rip, but that's not really where it's playing Indomitable Fiend.
Right.
I don't know. Like, I like the Walker. Broodfang is a fine card. Corrupt Spirit is okay, but this deck is bad.
Right.
Like, two spell purple and one of the spells is make a 3/3.
Right.
Doesn't seem very good.
Exactly. Yep. That was my thoughts. The other one was the Magma Legend Assembly, which is a Sunder, has Summon the Swarm, 2 spell sprites at cycle 2, Stimbolt for free, and then it has the big Gathering Storm at the end. But
man, your pairs for Gathering Storm are very bad.
Yes.
With your other 3 decks all having 2 spells.
Right. So Turnabout I thought was a decent decent spell.
All 3 of these spells are just fine.
Yeah, Pyre Song and Primordial Slam is meh, but I did have Fair Warrior synergy out of the green side. Betting Worm is an okay creature. Give one of your creatures +3 attack. This turn it gets Breakthrough.
Oh, weird. I guess it can give it to itself, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, Ezir Mecha Mage is obviously pretty good, but without a ton of
it's
spells.
Like fine, but your pools don't really support it very well.
Right. Combat Colossus is just a big dude. Fire Fist,
it's always good.
Yep.
Oh, you could have cheesed him out with the Fire Fist Uranthi plus Iron Beard ability.
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
13. No, sorry. How much is it? 16. Wow.
Hibernating Master just makes more.
That card's really good.
Yeah.
What you got 1, 2.
Mm-hmm. Plus the Sunder
and then,
ability. Oh, another mage. You're talking about other mages.
I'm talking about mages.
Two mages. I have two. I had 3 mages in this deck, and then 2 in the other. So I had 5 mages in the deck for it.
Well, you can't count itself. So 4 other ones.
4 others. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like close to good enough.
Yep. And then Inflaming Razortooth. It's okay. The give creatures adjacent +2 is pretty nice, and then Thundersoar, which didn't have a ton of access.
Razortooth as a card is terrible, I think.
Yeah.
Inflaming makes it a fine underdrop a lot of times. Like Inflaming definitely like increases the value of this card a lot, I think, but doesn't make it good necessarily.
If you saw these pools, Forgeborn choice withstanding, would you play the blue-green? Or would you play some other combination?
I'd play the blue 100%. I would look at the red, but probably still end up on green just because of the card Summoning Council.
Yeah.
Like, the rest of the cards are fine. Like, you have Glowhive, I guess, as a payoff for the... Before I was saying Sated Druid is the only payoff. Glowhive is also a payoff for these life gain things, so that's probably good enough.
I had some really big
green blue is probably correct.
I had some really big Glowhives in this.
I think your purple sucks. I wouldn't even look at that.
Yeah.
But
I tossed the purple out immediately, and then I was really torn on. I was like 95% certain I was going to play Drix. Like when I opened Drix. So
if this was World Champions, and like something big was on the line for me to win, I'd probably play blue green. If this was something more for fun, I would probably play blue red.
Okay.
Just because I think that I would play like Ironbeard and then the red cards.
Sure.
So I can have the Fire Fist combo as well as like Master synergy.
Yeah,
and a Thundersword. I think Thundersword has to just be incredible and sealed all the time.
Yeah, I think Thundersword is pretty good. I mean, there obviously it's not as good when there's Botanamates lying around and Vine Lashes and things like that that can really.
Well, it's better against Vine Lash than a normal creature. It's
Sure.
the same. It's the same against Botanamate as a normal creature.
Right.
Like the things that are actively good against Thundersword are like suppressing things or stabilizing things.
Right.
So effects like that, if there were a lot running around, which there usually isn't, even in constructed, those are the things that would make Thundersword bad. But
Greg
I think
had one suppressing and one stabilizing in his deck. That when I played him.
Yeah, but that's like not common, right? Those are both
no.
Those are both rare forges.
Yeah.
So yeah, like against Greg in that specific circumstance, the Thunderstorm would not have been good. You would have got wrecked.
Yeah.
But
so I mean, I think all in, like Greg's deck was really cool. I wish if he's still on here, Core, if you're still on here and you can link your deck that you played, that would be awesome because he had a sort of, I don't know the word I want to use. He had, is it Inspire from Steel Rosetta that allows you to reanimate a creature if it was replaced? Is that the Inspire ability?
It's, the next time you replace a creature, this turn reanimated is one of the abilities.
He had that on his Rosetta. And then he used his other Forgeborn, which the Cycle 2 ability on the other Forgeborn allowed you to access that ability from Rosetta. Because it was like, use the Forgeborn ability of
Wait, what?
I'm not sure how. I'd have to go back.
That doesn't make
sense. No. It was
Rosetta has...
Rosetta has that. It's...
Yeah.
He was... I don't know how he did it now. And again, I'd have to go back and look at it. My brain's not pulling the other Forgeborn in here.
Well, just having the like next time you replace reanimate thing causes a lot of nonsense.
Well, he had an armored mantis for it.
It's armored. Oh, just essentially just mantis. The armored is not very.
Yeah, but the armored makes the mantis a little bit more tanky, and so.
Oh, but so with mantis you can like do it a bunch of times, kind of.
Correct.
Yeah,
he did it like 4 times in cycle 1 on me, which was pretty impressive.
That's cute. Like you like make a mantis, activate it, play a card on the mantis, get the mantis back, activate it. Like that's neat.
Yeah. It was pretty impressive. And so he was actually he did that to me, and then we got into cycle 2 and he was able to play the level 2 mantis while he saw the level 1 mantis in play. But it was really interesting. It was fun to watch him do that and like see that kind of thing come together in a sealed environment. I'm not sure.
Mantis is another card like Stitcher that just doesn't, by itself it's not a path to win condition, but it's like pretty high floor, very, very high ceiling, and like is the gateway to nonsense.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, for sure. And I really thought, like, when Greg put that together on me, I really thought for sure he was going to just take me to town. Like, because I was like, man, he's like playing every card from his hand. Like he's getting there, and I'm just playing a regular game of SolForge right now. And it ultimately, I think my creatures got too big for him.
Right. That's the thing that happens, right? Is like he's going to have a turn where he plays 4 cards because he'll like play mantis, use mantis. I guess it's only 3 cards, but the more times he does it, the more extra cards he gets. So use mantis to like do the reanimate after replacement thing, play a card. It essentially plays the mantis again, so then you get to do mantis again, and that's almost another card. Like, yeah, it's just like you like spin all these wheels to get extra cards, but then you get to respond by going summoning council, and that's just 2 cards. Like you're just like, you did all those things to do this summoning council.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it just be like that.
Yeah, it's not sometimes. That's right.
Like it just
it was fun. I had a lot of fun playing. My first round opponent was I think we we nearly Greg and I went to cycle 4 or turn 3 cycle 4, like we went to the end of it, right? Like and then it was just a health comparison, and I was ahead by like 90 health or something. So the first round, neither me nor the opponent were really able to convert damage, and so I think I had chipped him down by like 10 or 15 health, and I was hovering around 65 or something like that. And he had been dealing damage to me, but it just wasn't outstripping my life gain. And so we really got to a point where I thought we were going to go to time 2, but then I just had a round where I connected for like 36 or something. You know, it was just like I eventually just had overwhelming numbers on the board, and he was not able to respond to that.
Well, yeah, I mean, assuming that you make it to cycle 4, like you're gonna get 2 free 8/8s with breakthrough, right? That's hard to like. That's a pretty fine win condition by itself.
Right. So anyways, yeah. So that's the only SolForge I've really played. To be honest, I played one game 3 weeks ago on stream. This was with the Betrayer Djinn, because I had made the offer and Joel sent me the link so I could start playing around with it. That deck needs a little bit more testing to make sure I've got the right pairing for it, but and I'll send you that one too.
Does your how does it work? Can you Mantis it? If you Mantis, does it pump your guy?
Yes.
Does your green half have a Mantis with it?
Yes.
Wait, is Mantis in set 2?
No. I've got a set 1 Mantis Forge Seal deck with the Betrayer Djinn and a Stitcher in the Betrayer Djinn half.
Oh, so you don't have a Djinn in your green half?
Nope.
So you're still only one Djinn. Okay.
It's only one Djinn in the deck. So I just slacked you the deck that's on stream. So it's my standard Darkforged Drain Oros half that I am still playing around with, and then it's been combined with this set 2 purple half that's got a Reaper, Butcher, Sorcerer, Harvester, Betrayer Djinn, and Commanding Stitcher. Do gain access to a Dreadbolt, Runescarred Pit, and a Darkshaper's Ritual as well. The Darkshaper's Ritual is less good. I only have 3 beasts in the deck, so not as likely to trigger, but it can.
Well, luckily, at least 2 of the... What's the other beast? Is it...
It's Leyline Vermin, Armored Keeper.
Oh, Butcher.
And then Butcher.
Yeah, so... it's not Keeper. Keeper's a mage. It's Mantis and Vermin.
Mantis, Vermin, and Butcher are the 3. Yeah.
So, like, at least 2 of them are ones you're going to play every time, right? Like, I guess maybe you're not playing Mantis every time because of his Oros combo, so you have to, like, keep the Mantis at level 1.
Yeah.
But,
you can. I mean, obviously, you can get the Mantis back with Stitcher, so you don't have to be as conservative with this, but there is less... I have less minion access in this deck for Stitcher because I really just have the Wanderers and the Summoning Council for this, and then the
the Dark Shapers
and the Runescarred Pit. So there's 4 cards that can access minions for it. But what you don't want is to make 2 Oak Fathers on the Summoning Council. You can also get, I guess, a minion off of the Shroudthorn Splicer if you really want to.
Your purple spells are all great. Stitcher is great. Djinn is fine. I know you love him. I don't know how I feel about Djinn. It's like a good card, but like Harvester sucks.
Yep.
Darkheart Sorcerer is probably just okay in this deck. Like it's fine. But
yeah, 7 spells. It's not insane, but it's okay.
I don't like Butcher.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Butcher. I do like the Osprey mech.
Maybe Reaper is okay. I hate Osprey mech. I think this card sucks.
I like it in this deck because there are times when you sometimes miss an upgrade like a Summoning Council. And so,
but he's so little.
Oh, I know, but that's the point. You want him just to like chump block something and upgrade a card, right?
Well, I'd rather just have a blank 4/5 than this guy.
Sure.
That's my only thing about him is I've played a bunch of Osprey decks because I thought he was cool at like originally, and because he never trades profitably, it does like at any level, and he just feels bad, I think, every time.
Yeah, I mean, I again, it's not I'm not. I think I'm still looking for the right half for this.
This green half is bonkers.
Yeah,
it's insane. Like your bad cards are like still really good. Sorry, like Keeper's like the worst card.
There might be a slight emergency situation here.
No. I mean, if there's actual emergency, like we'll cut the stream short. I don't think anybody will mind.
I'm waiting for a response from my wife. I apologize.
You're good. I will keep talking about this deck.
Okay. Yeah.
So like Keeper sucks. It doesn't do anything, and it's not a very big dude. But every other card in this deck, I think, is like on. And to lead with this, it has the combo, like the full combo, the level 1 Oro, Starkforge Drain, Forge Seal, and Mantis. So that's already like, you know, I've only ever seen one other deck that has all three. But on top of that, all of the other cards besides Armored Keeper are like minimum 6s out of 10. Like you would be very happy to have them as your filler in any deck. Splicer, Batterhide, Vermin is like 10 out of 10.
Right.
Wanderers is like pretty good.
Okay. I am going to have to run. I apologize. I'm going to have to take my son to the hospital. So.
Jesus. Text me when you go on.
I will.
Tell me what's going on.
I apologize, everybody, for the short stream ending, but we will be back next week. I hope everybody has a great night. We'll talk about League of Champions next week. We'll see you. Thanks, Neil.